For number 1, you had to find the slope of this line. Find any 2 points that this line crosses the grid line exactly. It doesn't matter where. But your slope should have been 1/2. Number 2, this was a horizontal line. So because it is a horizontal line, our slope is 0. Number 3, a lot of you put 3 but not -3, so be careful with those. Some of you did the flip version of that, -1/3. You just flip your rise and your run. Remember, count up and down before left or right. And then for number 4, because this is a vertical line, our slope is undefined. Questions on any of those 4? Those were each worth 1 point, getting the slope correct. For number 5 and 6, you actually had to find the slope. Use your slope formula to do that. So 5 minus a -4 over -8 minus 10. Some of you switched, like not these 2, but these 2, which means you ended up with a negative instead of a positive, or vice versa. So be careful with that. You either have to switch both of them or put them in the right order. Some of you switched these around, so be careful with that because that would make it a completely different thing. So this would become a +9 over a -18 or a -9 over 18, depending on how you wrote that. And then simplify always. So m equals -1/2 was your answer for that one. Similar for 6. So if you did this math across, this should have given you a +2 over a +20, which would have simplified to be 1/10. Some of you simplified this one, but not this one. Simplify them all. So those were both worth 2 points, doing the slope work and then getting the correct slope. 7, you just had to find which of these numbers was your slope. There was no work for you to do. So m equals -1/4. And then for number 8, you had to put this back into slope-intercept form by subtracting x and then dividing everything by -3. Some of you, when you went to divide, didn't divide and put them next to one another like they were multiplying, but this should still be a division problem. Some of you put a minus, which also changed your slope. And then some of you left this as your final answer, but this doesn't tell me what your slope is. Tell me what the actual slope is, which was 1/3. So that last one was worth 2 points. Do we have any questions on anything slope related? I just want to gain your trust as well as me giving you mine. What's your sign? I'm in Aries, I'm a 90s baby Teddy. I'll make sure to make this is probably the lowest section across the board in all classes. This one was okay. Because you had to find your slope, find your y-intercept. And then put those two together in your slope-intercept form. So y equals 4x minus 3. And that one was worth 2 points, getting the correct slope and the right y-intercept. So be careful when you're counting. Go up or down first, then left or right. Number 10 was worth 1 point because they gave you the slope and the y-intercept. You just had to correctly put it into your format. For both of these, some of you were forgetting the x, so be careful with that. And then I got some things that I can teach you. So with 11, some of you were putting this -2 as your y-intercept, but that is not your y-intercept, it's a y value. You should have been using this formula. I know I mentioned if you hadn't looked at the vocab wall to do that, these formulas are up there. This is your x1, your y1, and your m, so you're going to be putting that into each of these. Y minus a -2 equals -3 over 5 times x minus 5. We can make the minus a plus and distribute. Some of you that were doing this, when you distributed, you didn't make this a plus, which changed the rest of your answer, or you didn't multiply that correctly to get 3. So double check your math. And then subtract 2 on both sides, and your final equation was y equals -3 over 5x plus 1. So that one was worth 2 points, the work and the answer. Questions on that one before we go on? Well, was similar, except you have to find your slope first. A lot of you found your slope, but then kind of stopped there. So -5 minus 3 over 5 minus 3 would give us a -8 over 2. This will give us -4. Pick either of the points and do that same work. A lot of you that did this one chose this point, which is fine. So we would distribute the -4. So y minus 3 equals -4x plus 12. Again, same issue. Make sure this is a plus, not a minus, because it would change the rest of your work. And then add 3 to both sides. So the final answer was y equals -4x plus 15. So that one was worth 3 points, getting the correct slope, doing the work to find your final answer, and then your final answer. Questions on that? But I tripped on your love, now I'm addicted. Ain't trying to waste it, like we be running them out and never make it. That's just too bitter for words, don't wanna taste it. That's just too bitter for words, don't wanna face it. So you should have a point at your y-intercept and then as many points as possible with your slope. So for this one, for this one, you couldn't go up 5, down 5, and to the left 2, and then draw a line through those points, draw arrows. So all of these problems were worth 2 points, getting the correct slope and y-intercept, but if you didn't plot all of your slope points, or you plotted your y-intercept incorrectly, or if you didn't draw arrows, you started to lose out of that 2 points. Make sure that your slope is correct, or a negative slope. For this one, you should have a point at -1 and at least 2 others. Here and here. So calculate something like this. For 15, because it is a horizontal line, we're going to plot a point at this point, y equals 1, and then draw a horizontal line through it. And then for the last one, plot a point at 5. We can't go up, so we have to go down 7, and to the right 4. So this one would only have 2 points, and it would look something like that. Yeah. Okay. Questions on any of the graphs? Then the last section. For 17, you needed to do the work to find both of your x and y intercepts. Doesn't matter which one you did first. Put 0 in for whichever one you were solving, or the opposite of whichever one you're solving for. And then put what's left and solve for that variable. Be careful with your signs. Some of you weren't bringing down the negative, so you got a positive 12 instead of a negative 12. And then put that as an ordered pair. Some of you were, for the y-intercept, doing, like, putting it back in slope-intercept form, which was fine. You could do that, tell me what that y-intercept is, but you would still have to do the work for the x-intercept. Double check your math. When you're dividing, some of you were putting 6 here. I think because you just saw too many 6s. So your final answers for that one were 4, 0 and 0, negative 12. That problem was worth 4 points, 2 for the work, 2 for the answers. Questions on that one? $18 was 2 points. One from how you found your slope, whether that was plotting these 2 points or actually calculating the slope using your slope formula. But here, this tells me that you counted your slope to get 1/5. Again, be careful, rise, then run. And then putting this into the equation, some of you didn't do that. Some of you drew a line, and that's not what I asked for. So your equation would have been y equals 1/5 x minus 1. Questions on that one? And then the last 2 were both worth 2 points. Find your x and y intercept and find them. Your x-intercept was at 1, 0. Your y-intercept was at 0, negative 1. For 20, your x-intercept was at 5, 0. And your y-intercept was at 0. These should be 2 separate sets of ordered pairs, not combined. Questions on that? So your test on this is going to be Thursday. So if you need help on any of these things, besides what we do in Flex, come see me after school tomorrow morning, Thursday morning to get help on any of these things. Okay, so we're going to take our STAR tests. You can't use your calculator. Yes.
Is there a grade?
can't use your calculator because they'll have calculators on it for harder problems. You can use as much scrap paper as you want or dry erase markers for the desk. What? I just didn't hear what you said. Yeah, you put the wrong, you put positive slope when it should have been negative. You don't have to